people don't talk about it, the pitfalls when you're a model. Like there are a lot of pitfalls that usually agents don't tell you, managers don't tell you, but I'm going to discuss a few of them in this course because I think it's good you know what they are, because if you know what they are, then you can avoid them, right? So, one of the main pitfalls, when you're a model is you could get sexual advances, people kind of trying, to talk to you sexually or behaving sexually towards you. The modeling industry is where there are a lot of pretty women. It's an industry full of pretty women and very handsome men, in fact. After all, looks matter a lot in the modeling industry. Often, models find themselves constantly being hit on by clients, photographers, and agents. The very people who are supposed to be taking care of and protecting them. I'm not saying that this happens every day, but you have to be aware of this. A fair number of models get sucked up into this, thinking it will be advantageous to their careers in the future. Some models even provide sexual services to get work. My advice is to never give any of yourself away because you are trying to get a job. There are enough modeling jobs out there, so you do not have to sell your body, soul, or any part of yourself just because you want to get to the top. Beware. Many users in the modeling industry will try to use young talents for their benefit. Let me give you an example. When you travel worldwide as a model, you will live in a model apartments or model hotels. Model apartments and model hotels are usually long-term temporary accommodations at which the model can stay while working in that city. It can be fun staying in a model apartment because you get to meet other models, have fun going to castings together, go out together in the evenings, work out together, and make friends. But some model apartments are cramped and sleep 2 models in a room whilst charging each model the price of the whole apartment. Model apartments can be uncomfortable because you may not get on with the other models. Model apartments and hotels are notorious for having strange people hanging around. When I say people hang around, I mean promoters. Guys who are basically pimps, who disguise themselves as club promoters and promise to take models out for dinners and nightclubs for free, in exchange for them going out for the night to have a good time. When these promoters first proposition you, they make it seem like they are saying, "Come out with us tonight. You're going to have a good time. We're here to get you free dinner and you can bring all your other model friends." I'm not saying it's not fun. It usually is fun. They typically grab a bunch of models, usually 8 or 10 girls, and organize a car to take you to dinner and at a nice restaurant where you have free food, and after that it is straight to a nightclub where you get the VIP entrance. A table is waiting for you and a lot of alcohol to drink, and you can party all night. Sounds like fun, right? What some models don't realize is that these promoters are paid to bring you to the restaurants and nightclubs. They are getting paid because they believe that by having pretty women and maybe a few handsome guys at a venue, they will attract more customers to the restaurant or the nightclub. These venues pay the promoters to go scouting for pretty girls and to bring them to the lounge or the restaurant to have dinner and to take them dancing. Sounds fun, doesn't it? Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't go nightclubbing. I'm saying that nightclubbing and dining out can be a lot of fun, especially when you're doing it with girlfriends or the male friends you have made in the model apartments. You see, the thing is, you have to be aware that these promoters promise to take care of models, make sure they have a good time, and get them home safely. Some of them keep that promise, but a lot of them don't. Promoters take models to the nightclubs and offer them drinks and drugs, but many of these girls are usually young. It is often the first time in their lives that they have been exposed to such an atmosphere with alcohol and drugs and suspicious gentlemen hanging around. Now I'm going to talk about drugs. I've heard, not that I've heard, we all know and we've seen movies, including the famous movie about Gia, the model that got hung out on drugs. Drugs are definitely a no-no for you when you're doing your modeling, because even though you may come in contact with drugs, You do not want to have a modeling career surrounded by drugs. Modeling can be fun and an adventurous job and provide many opportunities. You get to attend parties, meet celebrities, heads of states and heads of companies, and go to places and countries you never imagined visiting. This lifestyle may seem glamorous, but like everything else in life, you have to look out for the pitfalls of the profession. Hidden behind the glamorous parties, the catwalk shows, the movie premieres, and all of the lavish parties is a world of debauchery. As with the entertainment and music industries, many recreational drugs are floating about in the fashion world. Models have been known to go to parties and take cocaine, ecstasy, and other drug concoctions. I know that people may ask why I'm talking about this in this course, but I think it is important and it is something you should be aware of so you can avoid it. I would advise any young model who is starting in the industry to be aware and not accept any drugs, recreational or otherwise, from anybody. If you are ever offered any of these drugs, please let a guardian know or call the authorities. In the past, many models have become addicted to drugs, which had detrimental effects on their lives. In the 1980s, famous model Gia became addicted to heroin, which ruined her career, and she eventually died of a drug overdose. In the early 2000s, we've heard rumors of models including Kate Moss and Naomi Campbell also having drug incidents. So please be aware of party promoters, agents or clients who offer you any recreational drugs, and please let somebody know about this. Models can use social media or the digital resources to get their stories told and expose any culprits if need be. As mentioned several times in this course, professionalism is the number one thing you have, followed by discipline, good character, and preparation. Avoid drugs at any cost, even if you're offered them by someone you think is a good friend. Let's talk about diet. Diet is another important part and another important thing in the modeling industry. Everybody sometimes thinks that if you want to be a model, you have to be super thin and super skinny. Well, I've got to tell you, those days are over. You just have to be slender if you are a fashion or runway model, but any other type of modeling, you don't really even have to be that thin at all, not at all. Now, let's go on the subject of diet. Everyone thinks that models are always dieting because they are thin. But many models don't do extreme dieting. They look skinny because they have naturally small bones and small, thin, petite frames, even though they are tall. When I was a model, I used to say fashion models look like aliens because of our tall stature and small bones that make us look so gangly and waif-like. Back when I was a model, we were told to diet so our hip measurements would be no larger than 34 inches. Nowadays, models don't have to be super thin or super gangly to be booked or signed to an agency. Even couture models who used to be extremely thin are curvier than they used to be in the past. As a model, especially if you're a runway model, you have to be thin or have a thin figure, but you do not have to diet excessively. If you're a little overweight, you can do physical exercises, go to the gym, eat 3 moderate calorie counted meals a day. In my day, the gym was not part of a model's routine. Most models just wanted to be skinny. And there were situations in which models would eat oranges all day or eat cotton wool to fill their stomachs without eating calories. So please, please, please do not extreme diet, as it will deprive you of food, nutrition, and damage your health. If an agent tells you to go on a diet, an extreme diet, or she tells you that you are not good enough, it might be best if you leave that agent to find one who could represent you as you are. As mentioned before, runway fashion models have to be thin because the thin silhouette is what designers look for. These models are naturally thin and skinny because they have been blessed genetically with a particular body proportion and frame, which is why they look so skinny. It doesn't mean that they're not eating or they're going dieting excessively. My advice to you is that you should look into other modeling types if you're struggling with body weight. There are so many modeling jobs for plus size models and curvier girls, including swimsuit modeling, catalog modeling, and a vast array of commercial modeling. Remember, that you do not have to injure your body or deprive yourself of 3 square meals a day or nutrition to be a model. Becoming anorexic or bulimic can not only ruin your health, but it can shorten your lifespan. There's always a model agent who will represent you just the way you are.